Good morning everybody, Lisa with you today to share the April 2022 release. I've got so much to share with you today. This is another very big release full of lots of lovely new stamps, embellishments, stencils and dies. So let's jump in and take a look at all the products. So I'm going to start today by going through the new stamp sets. The first one that I've got to share with you is this new one here called Iconic Beauty Scarlett. I think she's the fourth one in the range of the Iconic Beauty girls, and they've all been absolutely gorgeous, and this one is too. So you have this beautiful image with a choice of 4 different sentiments. And you also get the coordinating die, and included with the coordinating die is a word die which has a shadow with it, and that says life is beautiful. So that is Iconic Beauty Scarlett. Really lovely set, beautiful image to colour, and I did create a card with her. This is the card that I made, so I stamped and coloured her with Copics. You could of course use pencils or watercolours, whatever your medium of choice is. I paired her with a sentiment from a previous Iconic Beauty set, and I've mounted her on a background which has been created with a stencil I'm going to be showing you a little bit later on, called the Retro Burst stencil. So I used some distress oxides on that background, and I kept it really dark and sort of created a highlight around her head just to make the image pop a little bit more. But that is Iconic Beauty Scarlett. Next up we've got Cancer Girls. So I'm not sure where we are in terms of finishing the release of the horoscope girls. There possibly is one more, I'm not sure, but if you've been waiting to pick up Cancer Girl, then this month you'll be able to get your hands on her, and the set is very similar to the other sets that have been released. You get the main image, the description, and you get some other accompanying stamps along with that, the coordinating die, and then you have this word die here which is just Cancer. It's not a die for this stamp here in the set, it is a separate word die. So that one is Cancer Girl. Next up we've got this lovely Graceful Koi set. This is a stamp layering set, but it only has 2 layers for the fish, and they are numbered, the layers, so it's really easy to work out how you put these together. So you've got this fish here which layers with that image, that solid fish there. You've got these 2 here that coordinate with each other, and these 2 here. So you've got 3 different sentiments to use along with it. You've got some bubbles, and you've got this flower here. So I'm guessing this is a water lily, and you've got 3 different layers for this. So you've got a solid, an outline, and like a highlight. Now these don't exactly match up with each other, and that was done on purpose just to create a little bit more interest in the final stamped image. So I'll show you that on my card in a moment, and it does come of course with a coordinating die set. So here is the card that I made. I just used the flower, and I did it in 3 different colours of pinks and layered them up with all of the 3 layers, and I paired it with Butterfly Beauties, which was released about 3 months ago, I think, at the beginning of the year. And this sentiment here is actually from one of the Iconic Beauty sets. I think it's Sarah. I've actually used that twice this month. I really like that sentiment. I think it goes with a lot of sets, and it can be used for many different occasions. So I didn't use the fish, but I did use the flower just to create this clean and simple card. I'm going to share my first card now from the team. This is from Nancy, who's using Cancer Girl on her card, and she's also used the retro burst stencil that is coming up later in the video. I love her colour palette, the beautiful turquoise blue and those gorgeous pops of red. As I didn't use the fish on my card, I wanted to share a couple from the team as well. This first one here is from Daniel. I just love the minimalist colour palette on this card. It's very striking, and I love the movement of the fish from top left to bottom right. And this next card here from new design team member Hee-jung, who has used the fish on a slimline card. She's also used the flower as well, and she's used a stencil in her background that's coming up a little bit later in the video. It's such a vibrant and beautiful design. I really love all the different colours that she's used on this card. This set here is called BFF Girls Night Out, so another one of the largest stamp sets. You've got this main image here which you can just stamp and colour. You've got loads of different sentiments here that you can choose from. Why not? Let's get together. Call my name and I'll be there in a hurry. I love that. My liver called, we have to take a break. So this is all about drinking. There is a coordinating die set that's going to be available for this. I don't have it yet, but there is one coming, or hopefully it will be there on release day. So that is BFF Girls Night Out. And continuing on with the drinking theme, we've got this background builder set, which is called Oh Don't Whine. So you've heard me talk about these in the past. These are seamless stamps that you can use to create a panel of any size, so the edges match up when you stamp them. You just need to move the stamp or your cardstock and just stamp away. So that one is called Oh Don't Whine, and of course it is a collage of lots of different wine bottles and a champagne bottle by the looks of it. So really fun set that goes well with the BFF Girls Night Out. This card here is from Charlene, another new team member this month. She has paired the BFF Girls Night Out image with a word topper die that's coming up a little bit later on. I think her clean and simple design is absolutely gorgeous. I love the way she's used vellum as well behind the cheers just to make that pop even more. For those of you that like your cute critters, then there is this fabulous new set called Penguins Wanna Have Fun. You can purchase the dies as well if you want to, but it is such an adorable set. I have created a card with this set. So you've got lots of different images to create a scene with it. Mine's a fairly simple scene, but you can really go to town with it, especially because you can pair it with a stamp that I'm going to show you in a minute. So you've got all these penguins here, you've got the two together, you've got a little one there on his own, you've got one in a tutu, one with a balloon, and obviously one with a little party hat on and one carrying an envelope. So lots of different sentiments as well. Here's a balloon to help you smile. You've got a little rainbow, a cupcake and a speech bubble too. So lots of little accent stamps in that sentiment set as well. You can see here you've got the musical notes, the heart with the arrow. So such an adorable set. I'm sure that one's going to be really popular. And this is the set that it goes really well with, of course. This is called Glacier Scenery. So I've got some examples that I can share with you using the Glacier Scenery set. And of course, don't forget there's plenty on the website as well to inspire you. So you've got this set here with its coordinating die. So of course that works perfectly with those penguins. And this is the card that I made with the penguins. I just took the two that were paired together. I used a sentiment from the set and the little speech bubble. And I created a heart background. This is a stencil that's coming up a little bit later in the video. And I took two different pinks and some Snowdrop White paper glaze, and I mixed them all up with paper glaze enhancer, and I created this heart background that I thought went really well with the hug sentiment and the little speech bubble too. So that is the Penguins Wanna Have Fun set.
This card here is from Hee-jung. I really hope I'm saying her name correctly. She has paired the penguins with the Glacier stamp set, and she's also used the Retro Burst stencil in the background, which I think is just the perfect pairing. Particularly she's done that in an icy blue colour. So sweet.
This is the final stamp set that I've got to share with you today, but it pairs really well with the die that's coming up next. So there is a tea theme for the tea drinkers out there. This set is definitely for you. You can purchase the dies as well. So within the main set, you get the main image of the three girls sitting on a couch and drinking tea and eating cookies, my kind of friends for sure. And then you get the three separate images. It's the same girls, but they're sitting in different positions. And of course you've got lots of accompanying sentiments that go really well with the set. You will always be my cup of tea. It's time for a cuppa with friends, and our friendship is like a cup of tea, sweet, bottomless and forever. So really sweet set. I'm not sure why I didn't get to that set this month, particularly as I am a tea girl, but I hope that I'll get an opportunity to ink that up soon. This is the die that I think it pairs really well with. So this is the A2 You Are My Cup of Tea cover plate die, so sized perfectly for a standard A2 sized card. And you've got this lovely cup filled with flowers here. You've got a word die which says blessings, and then you've got this circular wreath, I guess, with flowers intersected along the different strands. So it's absolutely beautiful, and of course I do have some examples to share with you, and I'll get to those in a moment, but I thought I would show you this die first. This is another cover die for this month. This is the A2 Cherry Blossoms cover plate die. So pretty. I love this die, and I did make a card with it, but we've got lots of examples from the team. So this was very popular with the design team this month as well. So here is the card that I created with it. So for this card, I die cut the main cover plate die in white, and then I cut it again in pink and yellow, and I fussy cut the flowers out and the centers out of the other two panels, and I just layered everything up, so, and added some gems as well. These are from Night and Day, or Day and Night gem mix. I can never remember which way round it is, but it's such a pretty set. I really love it, and it was definitely worth all the time fussy cutting out the flowers and the centers. So that is the A2 Cherry Blossoms cover plate die.
This set of cards here is from Bonnie. Bonnie is also new with us this month. She has created this absolutely lovely note card set using all 4 images from Filled to the Brim. I really love the way she's done her different backgrounds with different colours of watercolour. Such a pretty set. This next card here is from Daniel. Daniel has paired one of the girls from Filled to the Brim with the centre portion of the Cherry Blossoms cover plate die. What a lovely combination of products this is. A super clean and simple card, really striking with that different background, and I love the colours that he's used as well on his card. This beautiful card here is from Karen. She has used the You Are My Cup of Tea cover plate die, and she has coloured that, and I think her colours are absolutely gorgeous, and you can really see how beautiful this die is. The way she's coloured it really makes all of those separate floral images pop, and she's also used the word die that's included in the set in the centre of her card. And this next card here from Nancy is just pastel gorgeousness. I love that dusty pink background that she has used. It looks so pretty along with the cover plate die, and of course it pairs beautifully with one of the girls from Filled to the Brim.
Next we have this Slimline Hopes and Dreams butterfly cover plate die. And I've got lots of dies to share with you this month and stencils. So this one here will fit your 8.5 by 3.5 slimline cards or smaller, and it has the butterfly in the centre, and you have these flourishes at the side. And of course you could just cut the butterfly out separately, and you could use the flourishes separately as well, so you don't have to keep them all together on your panel. You can use them in other ways on other cards as well. So that is the Slimline Hopes and Dreams butterfly cover plate. We've got two new word topper dies for you this month. This one on the left here is the Cheers word topper die, so would pair really well with the wine and drinking stamp sets that I showed to you a little bit earlier on. This is one of the taller word topper dies, and it has the thicker letters, so of course you can stamp an accompanying sentiment along that strip at the bottom as well, as you can with all the word topper dies. And this one here on the right is called Marvellously You word topper die, so I'm sharing some examples of those in a moment for you. But before I go ahead and do that, I wanted to share the remaining 3 dies with you. All of these 3 dies are rainbow themed. And I'm going to start off with this one here. This is the Rainbow Slimline Die Cutting System insert die. So as with all the other insert dies, you can just cut that from a top panel, or you can cut the segments separately, whatever you want to do. It's a really, really sweet die, super fun, and a lovely addition to the range. And there are 2 new Rainbow Slimline dies that I have to share with you as well. First up is this one here. This is the Slimline Curvy Rainbow die. You've got the curved rainbow there in the centre and 2 clouds on the end. Really sweet set, super fun to cut these out in different colours of course, and the clouds are big enough for you to turn those into a shaker. And there is a new sequin mix this month which is actually called Day of Rainbows, which works really well with this set, and of course I'm going to be showing you the sequin mixes in more detail later on. I'll show you some close-ups and of course some inspiration from the team with this set and with the next set that I'm about to show you. This is the next rainbow die, and it is simply called Slimline Rainbow Die. So you have the 7 different sections to this die, which of course you can cut in your different coloured cardstocks, or cut it in white and ink blend them, or colour them, whatever you want to do to create your rainbow. Works perfectly of course on a slimline card, but you can also adapt this to work on an A2 card, and Daniel did a card where he used this on an A2 format, so that's definitely worth checking out as well.
This stunning card here is from Charlene. She has created a beautiful slimline shaker using the Hopes and Dreams butterfly cover plate die. I absolutely love the ink blended butterfly and flourishes, and the colours, the pinks, the blue and the yellow all perfectly complement each other. This super cute mini slimline shaker card from Michelle features the adorable penguins from the set earlier on, and she has used the Cheers word topper die in her shaker card. And if you take a look at that little pot of candles, she's also included those as part of her shaker element, and I'll be showing you those a little bit later on. This adorable little circle shaker card is from Michelle. She has used the Marvelously You word topper die, and she's included a sentiment on the sentiment strip which says, "Congratulations, we knew you'd do it." And Michelle has used a sequin mix that's coming up a little bit later on, which is called Superheroes. So the perfect combination of products on this adorable circle card. This super fun card here is from Claudia. Claudia has used the Rainbow Slimline die cutting system insert. She's cut it 5 times from her panel and she's ink blended behind. Claudia turned hers into a super cute shaker card, and she's using some sequins that are coming up a little bit later on. This next card here is from Karen. She has used the Slimline Curvy Rainbow die on her card. She's cut it from different coloured cardstocks, and I love the way she's added the clouds in blue, and she has used a couple of sentiments on those. Super fun way of using sentiments, and I believe those two are from the BFF Girls Night Out. Next up, we have a card from Sarah, who has used the Curvy Rainbow die on a slimline card. I love the way her colours pop against her grey background. Sarah has used a vellum strip for her sentiment, and for her clouds she's done a double layer. You can just see some little colour peeking out from behind the white clouds. Super cute. This next card here from Karen, a slimline rainbow card, absolutely beautiful with all those vibrant colour strips going down the card. Karen has created a green kind of sentiment area using the 2 clouds put back to back from the previous rainbow die, and she's added a sentiment across the middle from BFF Girls Night Out. Next up, I've got a new stamp set to share with you. I didn't actually have the stamp set here to show it live, but I wanted to include this picture. The sentiments in this are really fun. This is called Add Colour to Your Life, so it works really well with all those new rainbow products, and you've got 4 different sentiments that you can use that come with the set. So that is available for release today as well.
We're going to move on now to the stencils. There's lots of stencils to share with you this month, lots of slimline and A2 as well. So I'm going to start off with the Tropical Leaves A2 stencil. So here it is. You get this beautiful leaf frame with the centre portion cut out. So you can blend it and blend colour into that centre portion as well, and you can obviously use that as a focal point on your card. You do have the positive section as well, which you can insert back in and just colour the outer part of the frame. So I'll show a card that I've made with that stencil. I think this is one of my favourite this month, but there were lots to love. So here is the card that I made. And here is my card. So I cut out that middle section for my card, and I used one of the paper glaze ombre sets for the leaves. So it was the grass greens ombre set that I just pasted through the stencil. And I paired it with the 2 little elephants from the Best Hugs Ever, which came out last month, one of my favourite sets and that I've used many times already, along with the little leaves. And this sentiment here is from an older set called Favourite Notifications. So that is the card that I created with that stencil. This next stencil is called the Mama and Baby Giraffes A2 stencil, and really beautiful stencil. You get the grid line around the edge as well, which really helps you to line up your cards so that the image is centered perfectly across the panel. I use this stencil, but I offset mine a little bit, so I'm going to show you that in a moment. But such a beautiful stencil, and I really like the kind of mosaic effect that you've got in the giraffe. So here is my card. I really wanted my paper glaze to stand out on my background, so I went with a black card base and a black panel on top, which was trimmed down slightly. But when I was thinking about the colours to use, I was thinking about the different reds and golds that you get in Africa. And so I picked out the pumpkin spices paper glaze ombre, and I used those on this card. So it's such a beautiful ombre set. I've used it many times, but I thought that the colours would go well with that stencil. So that is the A2 Mama and Baby Giraffes. These next two here are the Slimline Hexagon Randomness stencil, and you've also got one in a 6x6 version as well. So I didn't use these two this month, but I do have some cards to share with you. But a really fun set, and of course works really well with some of the products that were released over the past few months with the bees and things. So those are the Hexagon Randomness stencils.
I've got two cards to share with you now using those hexagon stencils. This first one here is from Sarah. I love the way she has paired that with the bee insert from a couple of months ago, the traditional colour palette of orange yellow, and it all really pops with the black die cut as well. Super fun. Next we have a card from Hejung, who has made another slimline card. She has used the Hopes and Dreams cover plate die. She's used one of the slimline hexagon randomness stencil in the background. She's used one of the little girls from Fill to the Brim, and she's also added some butterflies, which I'm going to show you in a few minutes time. They're a new addition to the store this month as well.
These next two are the Swirly Heart stencils, one of my favourites from the release. You have the slimline version here, so this is slimline reverse Swirly Heart, absolutely gorgeous. And you have an A2 version as well, so this is a larger heart image. They're smaller of course on the slimline, so you can fit 3 across your panel. And this is the heart that I used, is one of these from the slimline stencil on this card here. So you can see how that stacks up even on an A2 if you wanted to use one of the smaller ones, or you can of course use this one here on an A2 panel.
A beautiful card here now from Claudia using that Swirly Heart A2 stencil. She's done some beautiful ink blending through the stencil. She's used a die cut from one of the Slimline die cutting system die sets, and she has also added on one of those butterflies that Hejung also used that are coming up a little bit later on.
Not quite the last stencil to share with you, but not far off. This is the Blooming Iris A2 stencil. Really pretty, quite intricate stencil. I hope that I'm going to use this on a card soon. It's very pretty, and I just thought I would share with you while I've got it on camera. It does have these grid lines on it that allow you to line up your A2 card panel. So if you want to use this in a horizontal format, I'm just going to pop my panel behind and line that up with the grid lines. You can see there that that centers that perfectly across that panel. So the guidelines are really useful. And if you line it up with the horizontal grid lines, you can see there that that is also centered, completely centered across your horizontal panel. So really useful to have those and help you position that image on a card. These two here are the retro burst stencils, the 6x6 on the left and the slimline here on the right. I did use the 6x6 on this card here that I showed you at the beginning of the video. So it's a really great all-round stencil, I would say, for adding interest to your background. It is of course a symmetrical design, so it would look great even if you had nothing else in front of it. It would be absolutely beautiful, ink blended or paper glazed or whatever you want to do with that. But I just used it as a subtle but not too subtle that you don't see it background on this card here. So those are the retro burst stencils. Don't go away because I've got a few more things to share with you.
This beautiful slimline card is from Bonnie. Bonnie has used the slimline retro burst stencil in her background, and she has paired it with the butterflies that are coming up in a moment. See, I'm teasing you with all these snapshots of the butterflies. Super pretty card, gorgeous colours. I love her ink blending and I love the movement of the butterflies.
I am of course going to share all the embellishments as close-ups for you in a moment, but I just thought I would pull these out, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. These are something new this month. These are called kaleidoscope butterflies, and they come in two halves and you get several different designs in your pot. So this is the little pot that you get here, and they come, as I say, in two different in halves, so you can pair them together and use them as embellishments on their card. One of the team actually created some earrings from these as well, so you can do all sorts of things with them. Very, very pretty, and of course they will look great with any of the other butterfly themed products, or just as a butterfly embellishment with a flower or anything like that. So you can pair them with many things that you already have, and as I say, you get several different designs in the pot. So I will show a close-up of the pot in a moment. This little pot here is called Wishes, and contained in this 1 ounce pot, I'm pretty sure it's 1 ounce, you'll have to double check the website for that, but you get lots of little candles in it, and you also get some clear droplets as well. So really, really fun for a shaker mix. And 6 months ago, maybe 8 months ago, Picket Fence released this sequin mix here, which had the birthday candles mixed in with some sequins, and it was very popular, but people wanted to be able to buy it in a slightly larger size with more candles, I believe, and so they have come up with this pot here. So you'll get a close-up of that in a moment, but that is the Wishes pot.
So here we are, here is the close-up of the butterflies in that 1 ounce pot. So they're called kaleidoscope butterflies, and you get several different designs in the pot. So they're going to be really good fun to add onto your cards. And next up we have the close-up of the 1 ounce pot of Wishes. So you can see there all the super cute little candles mixed in with those clear droplets. Again, another lovely addition for you to add to your shakers.
Okay, so before we move on to the last of the embellishments, I wanted to share these with you. These are the new pouches. They come in a pack of 5. So they're made of a similar material to the other pouches, so they feel really durable, and the plastic is quite thick. They'll fit lots of your stamps and dies, and they would also be really good for housing your scrap cardstock or your half-made projects or background panels, whatever you want to do with them. They're really useful. They have this flap at the top which tucks into the slit there, so just to stop everything falling out. So those are the new pouches, but make sure you check out all the details on the website for the sizes of those.
We're going to jump in now with the close-ups of the sequin mixes for this month. They're all sequin mix plus sets. That first one is called Bee Sting, and it's followed by this one called Day of Rainbow. So that will work really well with the rainbow products this month. You've got this gorgeous mix called Fly With Me, which has lovely little clay butterflies in it. Next up we have this mix here which is called For Dad, so traditional dad colours of brown and blue in this mix. Next we have this super sweet mix called Honey Bears. I just love those little bear faces. They are little clays. This one is called On a Cloudy Day, an absolutely gorgeous mix, perfect for your shaker cards using those rainbow products as well this month. This next mix here is called Poker Face. I love the little clay cards in this. Next up is Rubber Duckies. This is such a fun mix, lots of yellows and whites and clears in this, and some sweet little ducks. And finally we have this mix here called Superhero. And last but not least on the embellishments is this pot of iridescent diamonds. You may remember that a few months ago Picket Fence released a whole different range of different coloured crystalline diamonds. Well, you can now get some iridescent diamonds to add to your collection. I have a few card examples to share with you using the sequin mixes. So this first one is from Michelle. She uses the For Dad sequin mix plus mix, and she has paired it with the Giraffe stencil and also the Tropical Leaves stencil. Next up is this card from Charlene. Charlene created a slimline card using the Hopes and Dreams butterfly stencil, and she has used the On a Cloudy Day sequin mix plus mix on her card. The colours go together really beautifully with the colours that she used on her blended background. And my final card to share with you today comes from Nancy. Nancy created this adorable little shaker using the rainbow insert die, and she paired it with the Day of Rainbow sequin mix plus mix. So really sweet card, and anybody would absolutely love to have that in the mailbox, I'm sure.
And that brings me to the end of this month's release for you. So I hope that you've enjoyed seeing all the new products. So many lovely things to share with you again this month. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comments below for your chance to win a giveaway as well. So thank you once again, and I'll be back next month with the May release for you.